Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back for another ranking video. Today I'm going to take a look at all 7 studio albums from the legendary Mercyful Fate. Vocalist King Diamond, you know the name. His vocals might not be for you. They are, an acquired taste, if you want to say that. But definitely a band that I love, and the King Diamond band, both of them. I mean, if you watch this channel, you're bound to see some of each for sure. But 7 studio albums, and in previous ranking videos that I've done, people have asked me about a key EP, where would you rank that? And today I'm going to put the Mercyful Fate EP in this ranking so you can kind of see where that stacks up. But like I said, only 7 studio albums. This shouldn't be a long one, but we'll talk a little bit about each album as we go. These guys are so much more than just their, the legendary albums that you might have heard about. You might not even have known they have 7 studio albums, or you thought they had more or less, but there is some really good stuff in here. Not every album is a masterpiece. We'll talk about it as we go. Excuse me. But there's really no real stinker in this, 7 studio albums. But let's get started. Coming in at number 7 is their 6th overall studio album from 1998. And first to feature Mike Weed on guitar, who took over for Michael Denner. This is, like I said, 1998, Dead Again. I'll pull out a bit of a glare here. Sorry about that time of day. So here's the cover, and if that kind of looks familiar, just remember the cover for Don't Break the Oath, because there is basically that outline right there filled with another little section of photos and stuff, and there's King himself right there. Anyways, not a bad album, but this was right around the time. So this one came out in 1998. You know what, there is a gap, there is a period from 1993 all the way to 2000. 8-year period, 9 albums between King Diamond and Mercyful Fate. So this is a year that there was a King Diamond album and a Mercyful Fate album. But if you're familiar with the album Voodoo, that also came out in 98. Anyways, so back to the ranking. Sorry, getting a little off track. But number 7, some really good tracks on it. My absolute favorite track on this album is called Mandrake. A great guitar riff for that. Dead Again, the title track, awesome. Fear, actually, and it starts off really good with a song called Torture 1629. So coming in at number 7, Dead Again. And again, not a bad album, but actually my bottom 3, I could probably say they could be a little interchangeable. They're kind of, all kind of lumped in one. But my top 4, I probably wouldn't change those ones. So coming in at number 7 is coming in at number 6, their 7th overall studio album and last studio album until hopefully we get a new studio album. We'll see. But again, Mercyful Fate for me personally is, the reunion. I would love Denner and Sherman together. Mike Weed's a great guitar player, but now we got Joey Vera playing bass and whoever on drums, and you know what I'm saying. But anyways, coming in at number 6 is 1999's 9. Very cool cover, kind of reminiscent of Don't Break the Oath cover and Dead Again cover. There is the back of the inside of the booklet. Very heavy album, back to those really strong themes. Personally, that stuff doesn't bother me. I just like music. I don't get too bent on lyrics and things like that. But there's the back cover. Songs to check out. My actual favorite song on this album is called Kiss the Demon, and the lead-off track, Last Rites. Heavy, awesome track. Burn in Hell would be another good one to check out. So coming in at number 6 is 9. Coming in at number 5, their 5th overall studio album. And last to feature Michael Denner on guitar is Into the Unknown from 1996. So this was a year that we also had an album from King Diamond called The Graveyard. So, you know, I don't know. It's not a case of them running out of ideas or anything like that, but there's only a few for even this album. There's only a handful of real standout tracks to me, but even the tracks that are not real standouts are still decent tracks. But kind of a shit cover for sure. I don't know what's going on there with that, but here's the back cover. My favorite track on here is, and one of my favorite Mercyful Fate songs, top 20 for sure, would be The Uninvited Guest. The Ghost of Chance, great song, Listen to the Bell. 15 Men and a Bottle of Rum, kind of a unique song title for Mercyful Fate. But coming in at number 5 is 1996's Into the Unknown. Coming in at number 4, and I've seen this one down on some lists, but there's just some songs on here. The strongest songs on this next album are just some of my favorites again. So coming in at number 4, their 4th overall studio album, second reunion album from 1994, is called Time. And first to feature Charlie D'Angelo on bass. You would know him from Arch Enemy. He is an Arch Enemy to this day. Has done probably all their albums, I would say. If you're familiar with the band Spiritual Beggars, with I'm pretty sure he did at least 1 or 2 albums with Michael Amont, who's also, you know, kind of the leader and driving force of Arch Enemy. Anyways, number 4, the album Time. I love the title track. The lyrics they're so damn simple, but just the whole song flows. You know what? And you get the high falsettos, you get the lows with King Diamond, you get the mids. It's all there. Check out a few of my other favorite tracks. Nightmare Be Thy Name, Witch's Dance, awesome. Angel of Light. And one of my other favorite tracks on here is called Lady in Black. So coming in at number 4, Time. Coming in at so this is where we're going to insert the EP. We'll just call it 3.5. We'll call this, but this is where I personally would put the EP. I think there's people that would put it a little bit higher, but there's 3 albums ahead of this that I just love that much more. But here is the Mercyful Fate EP, also known as Nuns Have No Fun EP. So this is just a 4-song EP, great reissue for Metal Blade. I came out 1 or 2 years ago. So glad to get this in the collection. But this one includes Corpse Without a Soul, Nuns Have No Fun, Doomed by the Living Dead, and Devil's Eye. All 4 of these songs were also included on another little thing I'll show you here at the end once we're done. So we'll call that 3.5, the EP. It's fantastic. It's, you know, you got to think 1982, a lot of different stuff coming out that year. 1982, you can think Judas Priest, Screaming for Vengeance. What else do we have? I think like Kiss, Creatures of the Night came out that year. You know, and here's Mercyful Fate just sounding like no one else, in my opinion. But anyways, let's keep moving on. Coming in at number 3, their 3rd overall studio album and their reunion album. So they got back together in about 92. You know, King Diamond was touring on the album The Eye. So this album actually includes that drummer, a Snowy Shaw. But coming in at number 3 is In the Shadows. I absolutely love this album. If you're one of those fans that are only familiar with their first 2 albums, you know what? Here's 10 years later. This is a blend of what they did in 82, 83, and 84 with, you know, a little more modern production, but absolutely the right amount of everything on this album. I can't recommend this one enough if this is something you have not heard. Very cool cover. There's the the old oak in the background. You have the Headless Horseman right here. Very cool cover. There it is without the glare. Definitely check out In the Shadows. This one was, like I said, came out in 1993. So, and then the one I just showed you before that was Time, that came out in 94. And then you flipped back over to King Diamond. They came out with kind of their comeback album, The Spider's Lullaby, which, in my opinion, super underrated album. The first, almost the whole damn album is so good, especially the first half. Just love that album. Can't recommend that one enough to. Anyways, back to this album. I have to tell you that virtually every song on here is just so good. Egypt, The Bell Witch, The Old Oak, one of my absolute favorites. Look this one up, 13 Invitations. What else we got here? Room of Golden Air is just a tremendous instrumental. Just love it. Basically, you got 4/5 of the original lineup on this album. Only Snowy Shaw took over for Kim Ruse. Ruz. And Timmy Hanson's still on here, which we lost Timmy just about 2 years ago, I think, November or December of 2019. Rest in peace, Timmy Hanson. This was the last to feature him on bass, but definitely go check out this album, coming in at number 3. And the last two are kind of a flip-flop with a lot of people. I mean, I've actually even seen In the Shadows higher than my last two. And it just goes to show you how good of an album that is. But these last two, it's 1A, 1B. It's just, maybe it's just when you got into the band. Maybe it's just, maybe you have a preference. But the next one I'm going to show you is my number 2 from 1984. And one of the all-time coolest album covers. This would be this is up there with the Iron Maiden Killers cover and, stuff like that. But here's my number 2, Don't Break the Oath. And not number 2 by much, but there's just one I like a little bit better. But this is just this is a downright classic, and should be in any Metalheads collection. There's the band right there. Yeah, check out A Dangerous Meeting, Nightmare, Desecration of Souls, Night of the Unborn, The Oath. My personal favorite song on here is Gypsy. Gypsy is almost a song that probably should have been on Melissa, but regardless, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Come to the Sabbath. Yeah, very solid album, coming in at number 2, Don't Break the Oath. So that only leaves one. You absolutely know what it is already, but it is my favorite. And to start off an album, these are 3 of the best songs that you could ever start off an album with. But here's my number 1, Melissa. Another just so cool. What a cool cover it is. Believe it or not, this is stuff that actually, back in the day, I was just into Priest, Dio, things like that, Kiss. But man, I did not touch this right away. I got into these guys a little bit later, because between this cover and Don't Break the Oath cover scared the absolute shit out of me, and probably something, I probably wouldn't even want my parents to see. And there was other stuff, but there's ways around that. But anyways, here's my number 1, Melissa. Literally check out any of these 8 tracks. Like I said, the top 3 tracks: Evil, Curse of the Pharaohs, Into the Coven, awesome, At the Sound of a Demon Bell. So yeah, one of the best side A's around. And then side B, Black Funeral, Satan's Fall, and Melissa. Coming in at number 1, 1983's Melissa. And that wraps up my ranking. Let me know in the comments, where do you rank some of these albums? Have you heard all these albums? Because again, I'll kind of reinforce, there's not a real shit album in these 7, and there is only 7. So, I mean, sometimes less is more. And but I got a couple more things here to show you before I let you go. This was a release in, I believe this was 87. This is called In the Beginning. So this actually has the whole Nuns Have No Fun EP on it. And then on the B side, it has some performances. What do we got here? Yeah, some sessions, fully remastered, whole bunch of stuff. But definitely check this one out if you kind of want that EP and a little bit extra. This is called The Beginning. And I also picked up this one. It's called Return of the Vampire. The rare and unreleased tracks. Really cool cover on this one too. So this one has, yeah, and there, I think there is early versions of songs like Curse of the Pharaoh on here, Return of the Vampire, which they did on In the Shadows, actually, and that's the track 10, and Lars from Metallica did the drumming on that, and you can absolutely tell he does the drumming on that. Pretty basic shit, but anyways, check it out. And yeah, some early stages of Mercyful Fate songs on here, and then some rare tracks. Death Kiss, which I think turned into another song. Anyways, yeah, definitely check out Return of the Vampire. And that is it. That wraps up my Mercyful Fate ranking. Kind of went on for 7 albums, but you know what? 7 albums, well, we'll talk a little bit extra, but I will, got another ranking in mind. I think I might go a little old school, and anybody out there want to see, you know, maybe an Ozzy Osbourne ranking or a Motley Crue ranking, let me know, raise your hand, and let me know in the comments. But hope you enjoyed this one. Check out some Mercyful Fate that you might not know. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Till next time, stay heavy.